The ocean stretched like polished obsidian under the morning haze, calm and quiet, deceptively so. Aboard the USS Changhoon, a guided missile destroyer slicing through the contested waters of the South China Sea, routine was everything. The hum of radar systems, the clack of boots on steel, the low murmur of the bridge crew, each sound part of a rhythm honed by discipline. Commander Ethan Walker stood near the helm, eyes fixed on the horizon but mind far away. He wasn't new to tension. Deployments in the Persian Gulf, surveillance runs near Crimea. He'd seen provocations before, but this felt different, tighter, heavier. "Sir, contact. Fast mover at 270, altitude decreasing." The voice came from Ensign Patel, cool and precise, but a little too clipped to hide the edge of concern. "Let's see it," Walker said, stepping toward the radar console. The green dot on the screen moved like a knife across glass, direct, purposeful. Too fast for a recon drone, too erratic for a commercial aircraft. "Visual confirmed," said the lookout from the forward deck. "Chinese J-16 flanker inbound, low altitude." The air on the bridge shifted. Conversations quieted. Officers exchanged glances without moving their heads. Walker leaned closer to the display, then nodded once to Patel. "Open hailing frequency. Channel 16. A burst of static, then Patel's voice. "Unidentified Chinese aircraft. This is the USS Changhoon, a United States Navy vessel operating in international waters. You are approaching within dangerous proximity. Alter course immediately." No reply. Seconds passed. Then the jet came into view, a sleek silver shape darting low over the waves, so close its wake sent ripples dancing across the water's surface. One of the sailors flinched as the roar from the twin engines passed overhead. It wasn't a warning pass. It was a message. Walker's jaw tightened. "That's closer than last time." The J-16 banked hard and climbed, circling wide before making another approach. This time, even lower. "They're pushing us," muttered Lieutenant Ramirez, the ship's executive officer. "Trying to get us to blink first." "I don't blink," Walker replied. Still, his mind ran fast through possibilities. Was this a rogue pilot flexing his wings, or was it orchestrated theater? He thought of the ships nearby, the Chinese frigate barely 40 nautical miles out, the U.S. carrier strike group trailing behind. One wrong move and a minor encounter could explode into full-scale incident. The jet's second pass was worse, closer, slower, brazen. Its underbelly practically skimmed the mast. Walker snapped, "Ready countermeasures. Do not deploy unless I give the order." "Aye, sir," said Ramirez. "Weapons system standing by, passive mode." Then a beep. "Commander," Patel said, "intercepted Chinese transmission. Scrambled, but we're cleaning it up. Sounds like they're recording us." Walker frowned. Broadcasting this to their fleet or to Beijing? Could be both. Outside, the jet pulled a final tight circle. Then it dipped a wing and climbed hard into the cloud cover, vanishing as quickly as it had appeared. "Gone," said the lookout. "No visual." The bridge fell silent again, everyone listening to the absence. The radar screen showed clear. The comms were quiet, but the tension had thickened, like the charged stillness before a storm. Walker straightened his jacket. "Send the footage to Fleet Command, tag it as a potential escalation, and log the incident, exact time, altitude, distance." Ramirez looked over. "You think that was the end of it?" "No," Walker said. "That was just a probe." He stepped away from the console toward the reinforced windows that framed the endless sea. The sun was rising now, brushing the water in amber streaks, beautiful and cold. They all knew what waters they were sailing through, territory claimed by Beijing, but contested by international law. A gray zone, unofficial war territory, the kind of place where history didn't wait to be written. It struck hard and fast, and left the world struggling to understand it after the fact. Walker turned to his crew. "Eyes sharp. We're not alone out here." What he didn't say was the truth running beneath every heartbeat. The jet's maneuver hadn't just tested airspace, it had tested nerve. And next time, the pilot might not pull away. Next time, it might not be a flyby. And someone, somewhere, had just decided that risk was worth it. 12 hours later, the USS Chunghoon still cut steadily across the contested waters. The encounter had been logged, the footage archived and encrypted, and the chain of command notified. But silence from Washington was its own kind of response. For now, the crew was on its own. Commander Walker stood in the Combat Information Center, eyes fixed on a live feed beamed from a MQ-4C Triton surveillance drone orbiting 60,000 feet above. The footage was grainy, but unmistakable. The same Chinese J-16 was now airborne again, accompanied by two others, flying low over a gray-hulled frigate bearing the Chinese flag. "They're forming a patrol pattern," said Lieutenant Ramirez, tapping the touch display. "One high-altitude overwatch, two lower sweepers. Classic intimidation." "They're not trying to hide it," Walker said. "They want us to see it." In the corner, Ensign Patel adjusted his headset, isolating a stream of chatter. Mandarin, punctuated by aviation call signs, buzzed softly through the room. "They're pinging us every 20 minutes with broad, non-specific warnings," he said. "Stuff like, 'You are entering restricted waters. Turn around.' No coordinates, just bluster." Ramirez gave a grim nod. "They're building a narrative." The usual playbook. Walker tapped his fingers against his leg, thinking. "Anything from Fleet?" "Not yet," Patel replied. "Comms confirm our reports reached Indopacom, but it's quiet. Maybe they're watching to see what we'll do." That wasn't an answer Walker liked. He didn't come out here to be bait. Still, orders were orders. The Chunghoon's mission was to assert freedom of navigation, stay the course, maintain composure, observe but don't escalate. But the air had shifted. Everyone felt it. Down in the mess hall, Petty Officer First Class Maria Velasquez sat alone at a table, stirring powdered coffee that had gone cold. She'd been near the deck when the fighter screamed overhead, close enough to see the pilot's helmet. That image wouldn't leave her mind. She'd served in the Navy for 9 years, 2 tours aboard carriers, 1 on a fast attack sub. This time felt different. On a sub, tension crept in quietly, a constant pressure in tight corridors. Out here, it dropped from the sky in roaring sonic waves and left adrenaline behind like a shadow. Across the room, Seaman Brooks and Corporal Langford quietly argued over the incident, but Maria didn't join in. Everyone had an opinion now. Was it a bluff, a message, or something darker? On the bridge, the horizon remained deceptively clear. Then, shortly after 2300 hours, a call came from CIC. "Unidentified aerial contact, fast, low altitude, no transponder." Walker turned sharply. "Bearing 240, same path as the flanker." The crew moved quickly but with control. Walker stepped into the dim, red-lit CIC and studied the trajectory. This time, there was no audio warning, no distant hum of engines. The screen just lit up with movement, and then another contact joined it. 2 bogies, Patel confirmed. Inbound. No IFF response. Speed increasing. Visual? Negative. Still out of line of sight. Weather's low. Thick cloud cover tonight. A ripple of unease passed through the room. 2 unknowns, no identification, flying hot and low. It could only mean one thing. Someone wanted to see just how far they could go. "Set condition yellow," Walker ordered. "All stations alert. Defensive posture only." "Aye, sir. All hands to ready stations." As klaxons gently whined through the ship, the mood changed. Not panicked, but taut, like a drawn bowstring. Velasquez dropped her mug and ran toward the deck. Brooks and Langford stopped arguing and started moving. Back in CIC, the contacts approached 15 nautical miles. Still no visual. Then, a moment later, they appeared. Not jets, drones, small, sleek, and low-profile, likely Chinese-made WZ-7 SOAR dragons. Not weaponized, but equipped with high-resolution optics. They buzzed overhead, recording, scanning. "They're mapping our radar signature," Patel said quietly, "trying to see if we'll flinch." Walker watched the screen. Then he made a call. "Deploy decoy jammers, quiet mode." From the rear of the ship, two tiny pods released and floated upward. Designed to confuse incoming tracking systems, they created ghost echoes across the enemy drones' scanners. On the monitors, the drones suddenly wavered, their flight paths jerking as their guidance systems tried to recalibrate. "They're losing lock," Ramirez said. "They'll pull back," Walker replied. "They've seen enough." Sure enough, within seconds, the two drones arced sharply west and climbed into the clouds, vanishing into the dark. "Contact lost," Patel confirmed. "Radar clean." Walker said nothing for a moment. He simply watched the sea, calm and black under the faint moonlight. "Write it up," he said. "File under escalation through probing reconnaissance, and flag it for Admiral Rowe's attention." "Aye, sir." Ramirez glanced over. "They're testing us piece by piece. One pass, one drone, one push at a time." "They want a mistake," Walker said. "They want us to flinch." "But we won't," Ramirez replied. Walker gave the faintest nod. "We won't. But we're getting close to the edge." He left the CIC and stepped into the night air, the cool breeze biting against his skin. Out there, beyond the horizon, more eyes were watching. He knew the Chinese carrier Liaoning was within striking distance. Submarines lurked below. Satellites hovered above. And any one of them could make the next decision that changed everything. Tomorrow it might not be drones. Tomorrow it might be something far more dangerous. And the Chung-hoon would still be in its path. The morning began with an eerie calm. The sea was still, the sky blanketed in a gray overcast that muted the sun's glare. The USS Chung-hoon continued its steady patrol, the faint hum of its engines the only sound on deck. But below the surface, figuratively and literally, tensions were reaching a slow, boiling simmer. Commander Walker reviewed the overnight incident report again, this time with Admiral Rowe patched in through secure video from 7th Fleet Headquarters. The Admiral's face was grave, his jaw set as he read the bullet points aloud. "Two high-speed drones, WZ-7 class, intermittent radar lock, tactical jammers deployed, drones disengaged, no weapons discharged, no communication attempt." He looked directly into the camera. "It's a line they're daring you to cross, Commander." Walker didn't flinch. "Understood, sir." Rowe leaned in slightly. "We've got two destroyers rerouted to support, but you remain forward deployed, eyes on, ears up. Keep the powder dry unless ordered otherwise." "Aye, Admiral." When the call ended, Walker remained seated. For a moment, he stared at the empty chair across from him, once filled by his executive officer, CMDR Lena Shore, now reassigned due to a family emergency back in Hawaii. Her absence was deeply felt, especially now. Later that afternoon, the call came from the lookout station. "Air contact. Single fast mover, bearing 010, altitude decreasing, speed high." Ramirez zoomed in on the radar plot. "This isn't a drone." "All stations, condition yellow," Walker ordered. The contact was confirmed visually within seconds. An aircraft streaking low over the horizon, banking hard and closing fast. It was a Chinese J-16 again, but this time it wasn't just passing through. It dropped to a dangerously low altitude, barely 100 feet above sea level, and hurtled directly across the Chung-hoon's bow, wake churning in its wake. Gasps rang out across the deck. Sailors instinctively ducked, their helmets catching the shimmer of the jet's silver body as it screamed overhead. On the bridge, the crew froze for a half-second. Then orders flew. "Log the pass! Video! Audio! Telemetry!" Reinforce all MCON protocols, no pings. Medical to the deck. We've got a sailor down. Wind pressure knocked him off balance. Down below, Maria Velasquez sprinted forward with a med kit, sliding beside Seaman Brooks, who'd been slammed into a railing. He was dazed, but breathing. "Got you, man! Stay still!" Back in CIC, Walker clenched his fists. "They're escalating. That was within 50 feet. Could have clipped our comms mast." Ramirez muttered under his breath. "That's not just posturing. That's recklessness." But Walker saw it for what it was, a message, not one written in diplomatic cables or official warnings, but in afterburners and turbulence. A reminder that the South China Sea was not a silent chessboard, but a live wire, crackling with intent. "What's the drone traffic look like?" he asked Patel. "4 orbiting at mid-range. They're painting a full profile of our maneuvering response." Walker nodded. He had seen this before, in exercises, in simulations, even during shadow operations, but never this naked, never this close to tipping into real conflict. He stepped out onto the bridge wing, looking out toward the retreating streak of the J-16. The contrail it left behind split the sky like a scar. "Any word from Washington?" he asked Ramirez, who joined him with binoculars. "No change. Standing orders remain. Observe, don't escalate." Walker shook his head. "We're past observation. This is provocation." A beat of silence passed between them. "We need to show presence without turning this into a spark," Ramirez offered. Walker turned. "Launch the Seahawk. Send it east. Passive sweep only. Make sure they see it. And prep the Mark 36. Don't load them, just let them shine a little. Remind them what we're carrying." Ramirez grinned faintly. "A quiet growl? Not a bark?" "Exactly." As the MH-60R Seahawk lifted from the flight deck and arced toward the gray horizon, the Chinese patrol ships could be seen shifting formations. Their intention was clear. They wanted dominance, not coexistence. Inside the ship's secure planning room, the senior officers gathered. A strategy was taking shape, not to retaliate with force, but to respond with presence, precision, and restraint sharpened like a blade. Psychological operations, data feeds to allied satellites, tighter coordination with Japanese and Australian surveillance grids, every move designed to deny the Chinese narrative. But everyone aboard understood the truth. If just one pilot, one officer, or one technician misjudged a maneuver, this standoff could become war. That night, as the crew returned to rotations and the tensions settled into the rhythm of ocean patrol, Walker returned to his quarters and stared at the photo on his desk, himself and Shore, taken at Annapolis 2 decades ago. She would have seen this coming. She always saw the long game. He turned off the light. In the darkness, the ship sailed forward, an island of steel, armed and alert, threading the needle between provocation and peace. And in the sky above, something unseen was always watching.